Good day, everyone, and welcome to the News Chronicle. My name is Pius, and I want to welcome you to yet another edition of the show, Political Clinic. And today, on the edition of the program, we shall be looking at the politics of things in Nasarawa State, and of course, the tricks of the opposition, the litigations and everything. And interesting, I have a guest with me in the studio who has always been at the forefront, when the whole saga between Governor Sule and David Tambogadu was going on. And I'm talking about a future planter, an entrepreneur, and of course, a philanthropist, Mr. Kefa Stiga. So you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you. It's always a delight.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So on today's edition, like I said, we're going to be spotlighting the politics of things in Nasarawa State, the opposition and everything. And a few months ago, we've been seeing some developments in how you've been interacting with the APC in Nasarawa State. And a lot of persons feel, okay, is this person really, or was it some sort of a sour grapes before now? Maybe he really wanted something with the government, but then he didn't get it. And then right now he's trying to, align his ways with the present administration, so to speak. Do you feel any sort of vein or even a frontliner during the protests? Talking about the protests.
Yes, I understand. Well, thank you very much for having me here. First of all, I want to say that understanding the dynamics of politics, most especially in Nigeria, is trying to resolve whether there's any typical political ideology between the parties. Because for long, in dividing people along the party lines, but along some sentiments that is based either ethnicity, religion, or some personal selfish interests. And we all know that one thing about politics, there's no permanent friend and there's no permanent enemy. It is permanent interest. And where ideology exists, you will base yourself based and according to the ideology of the party that you belong. And then when I ask you a question, what is the ideology of PDP? What is the ideology of APC? You barely can actually pinpoint an ideology that belongs to these two parties. But when I ask you, do we have ideology when it comes to Christians and Muslims? You will definitely agree with me that we have people who believe in the Christendom and we have people who believe in the Islam. And a lot of people have succeeded in taking advantage of this ideologies to divide people along this line while hiding other parties. And also, let me now move into your major question, which you're talking about my meetings with
your meetings with
some other people.
Yes, people that we would say are
part of APC.
Yes, are part of the APC.
Okay.
Of course, part of this present administration. The thing is, it's not about supporting the APC, but it's about supporting an administration that you, quote unquote, stated that they actually stole the mandate of the PDP. So it is more like having a double standard. You supported the PDP before now, and then you gave your reason saying that this present government actually stole the mandate, and you are in turn supporting the government. I'm not trying to say supporting a particular institution.
You see, let me say this. When you say that your mandate is stolen, and you try as much as possible to regain the mandate, and at a point, this same mandate, you submit yourself to an institution to define whether you are on the right or the wrong. For the fact that we submitted ourselves to the tribunal, that means we are being guide, and at the end, whatever thing that the court of the law says, that is the stand of what is right, because we have submitted ourselves to that movement. And since we moved through the court proceedings and down to the Supreme Court, and it is clearly spelled that Engineer Abdullahi Sili won the election. At that point, we stopped the idea of agitation and we resumed to the idea of governance. And at that point, the issue of PDP, APC is no longer the issue. The issue becomes that of governance. And for anybody who understands, at that point, the government that is pronounced at that point ceases to become a government of either PDP or APC. The government becomes the government of the citizens of Nasarawa State. And that is basically on the basis at which I related with them. And I'm still relating with them because after the declaration, there was no reason to fight. Because this person we're talking about is collecting the allocation and controlling the resources of Nasarawa State, not as APC, but as the governor.
I can remember you also spoke about his incompetence then, not just about winning the election or not winning the election, but you question his competence.
Questioning his competence, yes. And up to today, I still tell you that I will still question his activities at some points. But you cannot say that in totality, the governor of my state is in total wrong, because there are things that he's getting it right. Whether we like it or not, are there new investors in the state? Yes. Whether we like it or not, are there new constructions going on in the state? Yes. So you cannot take it away that, yes, he's performing at some point. But coming from the opposition, I will definitely tell you that if we were in power, we would have done far better than what he is doing today.
If Mbugadu was in power, would have done better than what?
Yes, we would have been doing more than what is going on today. But that notwithstanding, since we are not in power, that doesn't mean that we're fighting the state, because any attempt to fight Engineer Sule today is fighting against Nasarawa State. It's not fighting against APC.
You don't believe that it would be an opposition to just, to just put him out there to make sure that he step up his game.
You
something
see,
like that.
One thing you don't understand is that as Kefa's Tiga,
trying to play opposition decently to ensure that, okay, this person is, because if you look at how Nasarawa State is right now, PDP is in some sort of comatose. Sorry to use that word. They can barely give the ruling party in the state a good fight. So if you are actually opposing a particular government, it is not necessarily fighting the government, but it is saying you need to be on your toes. You need to do things right. And then, like you clearly said, if it were Mbugadu that is in power right now, you guys are going to do far better than what the government is doing.
Yes.
You don't also think that you will have stayed through with your what is it called, your agitation, your protest against the present administration, and then ensure that they do the right thing or even do better.
To our own government?
Yes.
For the fact that it is our own government, I would expect another group of people to emerge.
No, what I'm saying is that, don't you think that you have stayed in that part that, okay, we need to put this government on their toes? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Yes, I am understanding you, but operating as who?
Operating as, you no longer belong to the PDP.
You see, there's a difference between the party as an apparatus. That's why I started by questioning the ideology of the two parties.
Yeah, it means you have fallen out with the PDP.
I have not fallen out with the PDP.
Then you can stand under the umbrella of the PDP, and then
I am still under the umbrella of the PDP and still liaising with the government of my state.
That is not double standard.
It is not double standard. If Wike is in the FCT today working with Tinubu under his government, and Wike is performing far beautifully and wonderfully well, more than the APC ministers themselves, is that double standard?
Well, we've never seen Wike question the emergence of Tinubu as to whether he shouldn't have become president.
Wike, prior to election, Wike has thrown all his demands on ground, and he said president must emerge from the south. And he went based on the issue of the South agenda, the Southern agenda. And when the government emerged from the South, as far as he's concerned, he needs to contribute his quota to the development because he was one of the people who agitated for it. Are you getting it? At the expense of even the party that he belongs. Because Atiku was our candidate. Did Atiku win Rivers? No.
You know,
so at this point, when Kefas is saying that it is time to contribute back to my state because time is of essence. For 8 years, I will definitely be growing older and not younger. And I will expect to create room for my younger ones to be able to take their spots. As well, let me, at this point, contribute my quota. And let me tell you, when I met...
Part of contributing is collaborating with this government, or even
but definitely you cannot contribute outside the government. Because whatever thing you're doing, the government has the day. That's the #1 security officer. And if your security is not guaranteed in the state, how can you function? And one thing you don't know, you mentioned it, that I'm a development worker. So I work basically in the communities. I've worked in communities in Akwa Ibom, I've worked in Maiduguri itself, I've worked in Niger, I've worked in Abuja, and then Nasarawa itself, in communities, before I even went into politics. So I have been part and parcel of different communities, and I know basically 1 or 2 of their problems that I know if I'm able to make suggestions to the government, if I see them keen into my own suggestion, I should be able to guide them. Because it was out of my criticism that I was doing online that I find them taking root towards the direction. So should I just allow them to go? I should definitely look for a way to be able to reconcile.
But a lot of people see it as a way of saying, if you can't be there, join them.
Yes, a lot of people have thrown a lot of words on me as a person. They said, hunger has no word. Some said that it's betrayal. That part of betrayal.
You don't see it as betrayal.
It is not betrayal, for God's sake. Who am I betraying now? Let me ask you, who am I betraying?
You are betraying, some people would say you are betraying those women that went, in some sort of compromising outfit.
Okay, I want to ask you one. I just want to ask you, what is the state of have you cared to know the state of the women presently?
It's not about caring to know the state of the women. It's what you were fronting for.
I was fronting for a better system for them.
Justice for them. Since let's say you couldn't get that justice,
yes,
you decided to join the government, and then you just left them there.
I didn't leave them. If I left them, I wouldn't have been here talking to you. Am I part of the APC? It's a question.
But you're working with the APC.
I'm not working with the APC. I am working with the government of Nasarawa.
You have been seen countlessly flanked around APC.
Have you ever seen me flying APC, ma'am? Have you ever seen me with the APC flag flying it? And I started by telling you that these two parties haven't gone close to them and haven't been around them. There's no critical difference between the two of them. The same actors that are playing in APC are the same actors playing in PDP. And we cannot continue to mortgage our people into suffering and dividing them along lines.
Have you had any reaction from anyone as to what is currently happening? Do they feel like, okay, this person who has gone the whole hog for us that time has now turned his back against the fight? I'm not saying turn your back against them, but against the fight.
Should I tell you what I have faced with them?
Have you had any reaction?
Should I tell you the reaction?
I'm talking about recent reaction.
Yes. I have seen people calling me to tell me that they are hungry. I've seen people telling me that their children are dying in the hospital. I see people calling me to tell me that they don't have money to even take care of the school fees of their children. Where am I going to get it? And should I tell them to stay away from the government of their own state simply because we are on the opposition? Shouldn't I tell them that, look, the government is our government? The idea is that, look, guys, the time of politicking is over. This is no longer elections. This is governance. For God's sake, you go there and look for space where you can be able to contribute to governance and let the government move. You see, we have created more problem around our society today, where we truly don't know what we want. People want to survive, and anybody who throws money at them, they go. They don't care about whether you're coming with one ideology or the other. The only ideology they believe is that which is going to take them to heaven. And that is the one that we use in terms of religion.
You talked about their reaction, telling you they are starving.
Yes.
Their children.
Yes.
They can't no longer sponsor their children.
Yes.
Does your linking with the present administration sort of put that to rest? Does it solve the problem? Does it remedy some of the?
Should I also tell you something? A lot of them are of the opinion that, Kephas, if going back to APC is our direction, please let us know so that we can all move together. But I told them, I said, no, I'm not here because I need to move into the APC. Even see me with the APC chairman himself, Aliu Bello. He spoke, he said something, he said, I remember the time when we were about to snap, he said, I hope the people will not start saying that you have moved to APC. I said,
so you have no plans to move to APC?
Move to APC or not moving to APC, it is a thing of time and space.
Okay. It means you have.
I am a political animal that have choice and I have space of operations.
You
For
have
now,
plans in the offing to move to the APC.
Plans and the future belongs to God. We only decide at the time when the time is right. But for now, I am in PDP. For now, I am trying as much as possible to see that our people have food on their table. So we are no longer in politicking. We have submitted ourselves to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court has given the verdict.
How is the PDP responding to the new you right now? How are they responding to you?
We have still within the PDP those who want me out. They really want me out. They say, yeah, you let him go, let him go. After all, he has been like that, let him go. He's not stable, he's not to be trusted, he's not loyal. And
Isn't it a fair agitation on their part if they say you're not loyal?
Loyal to who?
Loyal to the PDP.
Is PDP community? Is the PDP actually at the point of receiving what our communities are receiving at the grassroots? I want to tell you that most of the political parties we have are business ventures, where some people continue to revolve themselves within the party because that is where they continue to move from one parlor to the other, blackmailing one person or the other, just for them to gain their own survival. How about the woman who doesn't have the opportunity to move to another person's parlor to go and lie? If I don't come to blackmail you, will you give me food?
So what is the major reason why you're?
The major reason is that people have, look, the first instinct of every human is survival.
You're with them to survive. You're with the APC, but like you are palling with those that I would say.
I don't like it when you say APC. I'm palling with Nasarawa state government.
There is no how you're going
should we say that because they are APC, our people shouldn't relate with them? I want to tell you that the gap that we have created a gap that even when things are shared, the palliatives that were shared at the grassroots, it has been, our people are sidelined at the grassroots. Why? Because we have divided the state space into PDP, APC, excuse me, let me land. And at the end, what we are landing with now is that we have created more poverty at the base. While over here, there's a lot of our negotiations. We still meet at our level with a lot of people, but how many people at the grassroots have that opportunity when you give something at the top and it doesn't get to them? And some of them don't even have access to reaching food directives at the top.
But you agree with me that, like it or not, even in developed climes, you would have opposition parties ensuring that, okay, we need to ensure that these people up their game. And that's what I'm saying in Nasarawa State. Do you have some sort of concern? Okay, we do not really have any strong opposition. So the APC can do whatever it is they want to do. Or even the present government, since you don't want me to call them the APC, the incumbent government can do whatever it is they want. It says there is nobody to call them to order. Now, don't you have that concern?
That is the concern I'm talking. One, I'm not the PRO people. In the community empowerment and development of my people.
And who once believed in the PDP gubernatorial candidate?
I still believe in him. It's not that I once believe, I still believe in him. He's a young man. He has his own mistakes, he has his own flaws here and there. But we are all in the learning field. He himself, I didn't leave him because I've always pushed him himself to be able to do what I feel is even correct for our own people. So if I have not given him the breathing space, and I always say, look, there's need for us to do point A, point B, point C, so that we can be able to get the opposition right, then that means I have not left him. I have remained me because I am just me, myself, trying to make my own impact in the community where I find myself. And I don't think there's anything wrong with me moving and mingling with people around. If I come today and break fast with the Muslims in their houses, does that make me a Muslim?
But what a lot of people are worried about is that most of these people you now, let me say you are now agree. Should it be agreeing with or even moving with are people that threw banters at you when you were at the front line or when you were the major actor?
Do you know what when it comes about politics?
How do you really reconcile these?
That is the beauty of politics. That's what we call game theory. And in the football game, for instance, once you're in the field, even your own blood brother is in the opposing side. You dare not give him the ball because you think it is your brother. He is your brother. You play the ball because you want to score. And you play whatever skills you have to play. If it means pushing him on the ground and claim that it is body contact, you push him just to score the goal. And at the end of the ball and the game, you people come and you say that in the spirit of sportsmanship, you greet each other and smile and say, wow, it is a beautiful game. The loser will say, you played well, but we missed time. But that doesn't stop them from meeting outside the field, because the field is over when the final whistle is blown by the referee. So once they step out, they become themselves as the usual people that they are on the street, and they communicate with one another. And they move, they go to the same market to buy. They will not tell you that there's a price for team A, there's a price for team B. The price is just the same price. So also you don't find price for PDP different from the price of APC. People will go to the same market to buy. We go to the same churches to sing. We go to the same mosques to pray. So at that point, there's no party. All we have is government. And the two of us can come together and tell them that, look, my brother, there's need for us to have food on our table. You should think that I'm equally human and I need to survive. I need food. So do not in any way blackmail me for the fact that I'm in PDP, that I should not eat. Are you getting it? We are so working on this poverty thing that we're making more people more poor so that they can continue to remain more dependent on us.
It's working with the present. Though I've asked you that question earlier, it's working with the present administration, sort of the way of you saying, I need food on my table. That's why I'm working with you guys. Because recently, you were seen with the leader of the G5.
Yes.
I don't know what that is in the South State.
I don't get it.
And there's a phrase you use, you call it partnership. So I don't know what sort of partnership you guys are.
I remember when you were introducing me, you say, I am what?
Future, the future.
I'm planting for the future. In what you call conflict resolution, you try to minimize the conflicts around the community for you to be able to actualize your game. And if you're planting, and if you want to plant, you have to teach people on how to live in harmony and reconcile themselves, no matter how bad the fight might be. My fight with Adongari will never take Adongari out of Nasarawa State. He still remains a key player. And being a young man like me, we still have more life to spend together with him.
It's more like, I can't beat you guys. We just want to join you.
That is another language on its own. Beat who and join who. There's nothing like beating and joining here.
You can't sustain. They probably will think this person cannot sustain the tempo of opposing this government. And when I mean opposing this government, it's not
why do we oppose the government? You said something. Why do we oppose
it? To ensure that they step up the idea.
It's to ensure that, and if they are stepping up according to what you say, shouldn't you clap for them?
You can clap alone. You can clap while standing alone.
You can clap.
You want to join the camp and clap with them.
You see, clap and standing. Yes. You see, and let me tell you something about the people. You cannot always please everybody. I know that I have received one of the highest insults, if I may use the word, online in the recent. That some people see me on the road and just come their face. I've seen friends who said that I have disappointed them. But I'm not playing because I want them to be impressed.
But do you feel that when people tell you this person is a betrayer, this person is not loyal, this person has disappointed us, do you feel some guilt? Do you feel
I don't feel a single or iota of guilt because my conscience is very clear. I know what I'm doing, and I'm not in any way trying to endanger them. I'm only trying to tell them that, look, let's not divide ourselves into point A and point B. We are all one. Politics is just a game that we all come to play within a time, and after that, everybody springs back. Are you getting it? So it is not a game that must go for 4 years, and then you are by this side. These other people are by this side. So you see these people getting fresher every day. You are getting leaner every day, and you're still claiming that you come and face those people who are getting fresher. No. That means we have succeeded in dividing our communities, and it's dangerous because the day the poor people will rise up against these other people, it's going to be very, very bad. According to the rules of the game, there's no permanent friend, there's no permanent enemy. There's only permanent interest. So work on it based on, and if at that time you don't have food, do not starve yourself. If at that time you don't, because it is no longer about party.
Mr. Kepas, do you plan on joining the G?
That reminds me, G5, I asked them, I said, what about G5? What is G5? And they explained to me, G5 is a group of people that faced us during the collation of the election period. Election results were collated, and when we were trying to reconcile our things, I was in the same Gayam and Chiroma where the whole manipulation was done. And I saw Adongari and other set of G5s there, all of them. But I really don't know. In fact, they orchestrated my throne, the security had to throw me out from the youth center in Latvia. But I really didn't know all these things until when I met them. I'm getting the whole story clear. Okay, this is what happened. They actually did this on their own. The governor didn't commission them to do it. Because at that time, and there was so much tension. He didn't commission them to go for monitoring or to go and influence anything around the government system. Are you getting it? But they choose to use their wisdom because they feel the government in power, they can be able to see how they will use, since it's Gayam and Jiroma, and that is their immediate constituency. They can use their influence to be able to see how they can influence one or two things. It is a game, just as I said. And when they were able to manipulate themselves and keep all the results to ensure that the results were not released, we were fighting and hitting back. When they find out that some of us that are getting to know where the whole thing, they asked that we should be thrown out. I was thrown out of it, and I went back.
For want of time, because we're pressing for time, the question is, do you plan on joining the G5?
I am giving you where the G5 actually came from. And the G5 was formed because after they were declared winners with the over-bloated results from Gayam and Chiroma, they became the champions. And when they saw that they are 5 in number, that was when they now named themselves the G5. Was I part of them at that time? So there's no how I can G5 now.
So you don't plan on joining.
It's not to be joined. And that is just where I'm heading to. It's not a group that somebody needs to join. No, these are warriors who fought in their field. If Kumbu now, maybe I would have been part of a G2 or G5 or G7 on our own side because we are on the opposing side. So coming close to him as a person, or coming, because up to now I've not seen the other 4 people we are talking about. It's only Adongari that we met. And basically because there was an issue at that time. He was having a problem with one of our students, whom I know from school, that's Kabiru Dalla. And when I saw Kabiru display some results from ABU, I said, I am a graduate of ABU and I know Kabiru then. Are you getting it? Despite that, at that time, we're already almost exiting the school when they came in. But I felt, look, this is too bad for him to have gone as far as bringing out his result. Stop these things. It's not good and it's not healthy for the future because you are both young people. Are you getting it? But on reaching, I find out that there are more to this conversation. It was an accidental meeting. But all of a sudden, it gave birth, when I started hearing from him, it gave birth to a new person that I'm seeing. It's no longer the person.
You saw them, or even you saw him differently?
I saw him differently after I had that conversation with him. It's not the same person that I saw ranting and saying all those things, because he also said that it is politics.
Is your contact with them changed your impression about Governor Sule? Or you've known Governor Sule to be competent or a better person?
I've always known Governor Sule to be somebody who has something.
So your contact with the G didn't change anything? Didn't change
that.
expression?
Governor Sule was in my program in 2020. I did Nasarawa Business Festival, and Governor Sule was the guest in the program. We fell apart at some point. But one thing that I know about him, if you have good ideas and come close, and if he has access to the ideas, he's trying to help the idea to flourish. But what happened along the way is that there were a lot of internal or forces within some that really don't want me to have access to him. And for the fact that I'm not in APC, and they use that I have to come back to APC committee. And I said, no, I'm not coming back. And that was what created the whole gap that you saw. So I left.
Maybe your return is to bridge the gap right now.
Return to where?
To them, to the APC.
There's nothing to return or to bridge the gap. I'm returning to my governor of the state.
For want of time, I want us to talk about something that, has put you, is it you now, or even the other person in the eye of the storm? And I'm talking about your contention with the gubernatorial, should I now call him an aspirant, somebody who wants to vie for governorship in 2027. Talking about Mr. Ayuba Umar. You guys have been throwing banters to each other on social media. Do you feel that is necessary?
It is necessary. It is necessary. Because Ayuba Umar is of age. He's of age. And if there are people we need to ask questions today, are people who are our parents. What happened? How comes we're having a state that doesn't even have a vision?
Do you have a problem with him criticizing his government, like the government of Sudan? Or you just have a problem?
Ayuba Umar claiming he's part of the founding fathers. Are you getting it? If he's part of the founding fathers, in African culture, elders don't fight in the public. Elders fight in the closet. In the African culture that I know, if there's any problem, Ayuba Umar is from Akwanga local government. Engineer Sule is from Akwanga local government. What happened? I don't have a problem with him trying to blow out some of the lapses of the government. But when he makes it too personal, it becomes a question to ask. Do you mean to tell me? Yes, he's becoming too personal. And that was where, no, not me. He never started it. At the point when he's now turned to me, he turned to me when he saw me with Adongre. That was when he now turned to me and started by accusing me of going to mingle with them because I have compromised. And I told him, I said, I am not that which you are thinking. Where are you even speaking from? You're not speaking from Nigeria, for God's sake. I am here in the field. I know where it's paining me.
But isn't he saying the voice of the majority, like speaking from the voice of the majority?
You see,
you rightly pointed out earlier that
I'm a student of politics, and I can tell you that the word majority is relative.
You just stated it earlier that a lot of people say, oh, this person.
When I mean a lot of people, it can be 50 people, it can be 10 people, it can be 5 people. But depending on the comments that I'm getting. But when you're talking of majority, it's relative. Because I always tell you, a young man, a small child with a gun in the midst of 100 people, and he shoots the gun up, who is the majority? The young boy standing in their middle becomes the majority. So at that point, it depends on who owns the weapon.
Let's go back to the submission in the nature.
So when I came up with all these allegations here and there, and I decided, and he went as far. What really touched me? He said, I have betrayed the women. That I have a reason that I must be able to go and apologize publicly. And some comments like that, I can't remember vividly what.
Don't you feel the need to do that?
And I asked him, to do what? What? Just as I said, I'm a community person. You can take everything out of me, but you cannot take the community out of me. because it is me. It is my passion to see somebody celebrating or being happy that I have affected his or her life. So when Ayuba and Umar mentioned it, I said, I don't want to go into that part because from the part of the women, I have my own reservation on both the PDP and the APCs. Because these women, at a point, they were being denied that they are not even indigenous of Nasarawa state. We stood and we fought for it and declared that these women are our women. Who were we talking to at that time? It was within the party level. And then at this time, these women, how are they faring now? Are we telling them the truth that some of them cannot even afford food on their table? Some of them cannot afford hospital bill. Huh? I can tell you that as low as 50,000, the woman that was shot, she was looking for as low as 50,000 to start her business, which is she sells zero. And I tried to see, okay, how do we get this 50,000 across to her? It was not available. And then you say, I should sit down and move quiet. When he threw that thing, it became too personal to me. And I said, let me ask him a simple question. The question I asked him, I said, Ayuba Umar, what impact have you made within your community? And considering your age, who can you claim that you have empowered within the system? And how often do you even come to associate with your kings? That all these things you are throwing here, in your age by now, we should be counting the number of people that you've empowered. That was when he went above. He said that they were among the people that brought UBA to Nasarawa State. They were among, and I laughed over all his submission, that Nasarawa State University, they were among people that actually started for the creation of Nasarawa State.
Mr. Kifas, because we are pressing for time.
Yes.
That's the better place to put it. But then, lastly, some people will say all that has been happening is more like you being part of those foot soldiers that are now throwing the bullets at whoever is going to stand in the way of Abdullah Yusuf. And of course, interestingly, you are from Nasarawa North. And with the way, with the politics of things, we do not know how things might pan out in 2027. But then, some people will say you are a better actor that the governor is going to use in 2027, if at all he has any ambition to run for senator. And then they will tell you that it is a fair argument or even a fair judgment if they say that you are just one of those foot soldiers that have been recruited to work for him. That is why anybody who throws bullet at you, you take it.
Well, it's politics, just as you say, but I know that Engineer Sule said it on national TV that he's not contesting for Senate. He said it on Channels TV. And then aside saying it on Channels TV, Engineer Sule, my meeting with him, he didn't discuss anything political. He said the time of politicking is over. This is a time for governance.
So you are not a foot soldier to
he is my governor.
You are not his foot soldier.
As a citizen,
yes,
I am a social, but not as a politician. As a citizen, I remain under Engineer Abdullah Yusuf, and he is the governor of my own state, and I remain a citizen in that state. But that doesn't stop me that when he is wrong, I will not clearly pinpoint where he is wrong. But when he's right, I should equally be confident to applaud him for being right.
Right. I think that's a better way to put it. I want to say thank you for coming and doing our show with Thanksgiving.
Thank you very much.
Maybe next time we're going to have, because I can see that you're all fired up. You want to say a lot, but then because of because of time, we cannot go beyond this particular time frame.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you trying to know more about these things because a lot of people have a misconception of who this Kefas is.
I mean, that's why we have you.
Yes, and I'm happy you give me this opportunity.
Yeah, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for being with us. We had an interesting conversation, and then trust me, you can drop what you think about the conversation, and then, share, make sure to, comment and all. I've been speaking with Mr. Kefas Tiga, who is a community developer, a future planter, a politician, and of course, a philanthropist. They've been able to give us insight, profound insight on the politics of things in Nasarawa State. My name is Pius, Kadon, urging you guys to join us on Monday for another interesting edition of the program. Stay there.